Usually, when someone thinks of cult classics, they reference films from the 60s through the 80s. But as much as some of us don't like to admit it, decades have gone by since then, and we're now in the 2020s. Now, films that released in the early 90s through the 2010s have established their own cult legends. Films that may have either bombed in the theaters for being ahead of their time, or because they starred someone who is now a major actor. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Every new sub helps us achieve our goal and keeps us motivated to create new content. With that being said, I'm your host, Jamie, and here are 10 modern cult favorite films. Number 1. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, based on the popular graphic novel, may have been slightly ahead of its time when it was first released in 2010. The film brilliantly satirized video games and comic books, while embodying writer-director Edgar Wright's kinetic style and unique sense of humor. Had the film come out even 3 years later, post Marvel's The Avengers, it would have been a bona fide hit. Critics loved it, and so did the folks who actually saw it. These days, video games and comic books are more popular than ever. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World follows Scott Pilgrim as he has to fight all the evil exes of the girl of his dreams in order to date her. Part of the humor lies in the fact that Scott is played by Michael Cera, who is soft-spoken, lanky, and unassuming. But he ends up being quite formidable. The film implements a lot of comic aesthetics and styles as well as things commonly found in video games, such as a life meter. Mary Elizabeth Winstead plays Ramona Flowers, who is basically the definition of the maniac pixie dream girl. The rest of the cast also stacked and includes Brandon Routh, Chris Evans, and Brie Larson. Or, for those of you who might not know, that's Superman, Captain America, and Captain Marvel. Although in 2010, Sarah was actually one of the bigger names. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a blast from start to finish. It's well made, highly entertaining, and thoroughly underappreciated. Catch it on Max, Hulu, Sling, Roku, Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 2. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Stephen Chbosky's The Perks of Being a Wallflower is one of the masterpieces to come out of the indie renaissance that started in the aughts. Writer-director Chbosky also wrote the original novel, which takes place in the 90s. It's written as a collection of letters, stylishly documenting adolescence and all the raw highs and lows that encompass that period. While the film is structured much more conventionally, the book's nuance, darker themes, philosophy, and basic story remain and are executed effectively. The Perks of Being a Wallflower follows Charlie, played sublimely by the wide-eyed Logan Lerman, as he adapts to high school, befriending extroverts that guide him through the sentiments and experiences of high school life and existentialism. Emma Watson stars as the manic pixie dream girl, a far cry from her first role in Harry Potter as magical girl wonder Hermione. The Perks of Being a Wallflower hit home for me as I am an introvert, as well as a wallflower. I was not alone in my feelings as critics called it heartfelt and sincere, and since its release, it has built a sizable cult following of admirers. I will also note that the book is fantastic. Some of the changes are from the book, or that it does not take place in the 90s, and it isn't quite as dark. So get ready to sink into your feels as you check this out on Google Play, Apple TV, or Prime. Number 3. Fight Club. David Fincher is one of the greatest living film directors, and one of his most iconic films is 1999's legendary Fight Club. Though the film is now synonymous with Fincher's signature style and themes, it's actually an adaptation of Chuck Palahniuk's 1996 novel, also entitled Fight Club. Though Fincher had made box office hits like Best Picture winner Seven prior to Fight Club, his film was not ultimately a box office success. It grossed just over $100 million worldwide, which was well below what 20th Century Fox wanted. The film cost around $65 million, meaning it ultimately lost the studio money during its theatrical run, as studio's cut is roughly 50%. However, it built a cult following and made bank in the home market as its fan base grew. Fight Club ironically fought its way to mainstream success through its biting politics about the hollowness of consumerism, as well as its topical themes regarding suppression of identity and the lies of the American dream. Fight Club follows a nameless narrator disenchanted by the superficiality of white-collar life. After meeting a soap salesman, Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt, who convinces the narrator that he needs to shed materialism and involve himself in something more visceral, they form a discreet Fight Club. So get in the ring and prepare for a beatdown of fantastic acting and a badass soundtrack by checking it out over on Fubo, Hulu, Sling, Prime, or Fandango. Number 4, Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko sees Jake Gyllenhaal play the titular character in his breakout role. The story follows Donnie Darko, who sees a demonic rabbit, and in a trance-like state follows him out onto a golf course at night. At the same time, an unidentified engine crashes into Donnie's room, which would have killed him had he been there. Donnie Darko is an existential drama that is also part horror and sci-fi. But because all these elements are tied to themes of time and fate, the film works. It's engaging, thought-provoking, criticizing everything from the superficiality of suburbia to religious hypocrisy. And it is also quite evident that Donnie is not only a genius, but suffers from severe clinical depression. It might be odd to say it, but I am one of the many cult fans of this film. I saw it when I was in high school and have watched and analyzed it from so many angles. This was director Richard Kelly's Lightning in a Bottle. It was also produced by Drew Barrymore, who had a starring role. Seth Rogen makes a brief appearance in it as well. I often wonder how its success would have changed had it not been released around 9/11. Just avoid the sequel S. Darko, as it adds nothing to the narrative and came way too late to capitalize on the film's popularity, feeling more like a last desperate grasp for financial gain. Check out the original over on Tubi, Peacock, Pluto, Zumo, Sling, Roku, Plex, Hulu, AMC Plus, Prime, Billo, Disney Plus, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Number 5, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. As someone who has also had a fascination with memory and how it functions, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind has a special place in my heart, and I do believe it is one of the best modern films of our time. Many scholars would agree with that assessment. The film stars Jim Carrey as Joel Barish in one of his best dramatic roles. He performs opposite multiple award-winning actress and now silver screen legend Kate Winslet as Clementine Krasinski. Essentially, the two were lovers until they weren't. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind plot revolves around a machine that can erase memories. And that deeply heartbroken couple both want to go through the process of erasing memories of their relationship. The memories associated with their relationship are painful to each individual. The film could have easily dropped the ball on the narrative and simply milked a brilliant premise, but it committed to everything. It's woven together with beautiful camera work, powerful themes, tour de force performances, an emotional score, and taut storytelling. I'm still raving about this film 20 years later, but it is truly something special. Michael Gondry eventually even reunited with Carrie to bring us another masterpiece, a series called Kidding. And if this film is your jam, then you've absolutely got to add Kidding to your collection. It's really the best "it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all" film. Even after their memories are erased, the love still lingers. Memories linger. So, is love deeper than memory? Can memory exist outside of consciousness? Watch this masterpiece over on Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango, or Prime. Number 6, The Cell. 2000's cerebral, convoluted masterpiece, The Cell. Maybe masterpiece is stretching it, but it has some undeniable strengths. Renowned serial killer Karl Rudolf Starger, who is known for killing his victims via drowning them in a slowly filling water tank, is found comatose at the same time he has recently kidnapped a new victim. She's alive, but her whereabouts are unknown. A child psychologist played by Jennifer Lopez has recently been experimenting with a burgeoning technology that allows one person to enter someone else's mind. She's asked by the FBI to link up with the serial killer using said technology in order to figure out where he's hidden his victim before it's too late. The Cell has an intriguing premise and is visually titillating, which carries the viewer through the more unfocused aspects of the narrative. Everything from the art direction and mise-en-scene is evocative. The Cell has cult favorite written all over it, as I'm sure fans have analyzed the imagery and symbolism with a fine-tooth comb. The film is also a deliciously macabre and impressive work of body horror. The Cell has something for horror fans and sci-fi fans alike. Just like many other cult favorites, ignore the sequel as it's not nearly as great or adds anything worthwhile. Witness it over on Prime or Fandango. Number 7, Hard Candy. 2005's Hard Candy stars a precious 18-year-old Elliot Page in one of his earlier roles, demonstrating his undeniable talent even at a young age. Being cast as Kitty Pryde in 2006's X-Men Last Stand launched their career into the stratosphere. Before that, he starred in Hard Candy. The film tells the story of a 14-year-old girl, Haley, played by Elliot before he transitioned, who meets Jeff, a 32-year-old photographer, online. They eventually meet up for coffee before she goes over to his house. He plans on taking advantage of her sexually and then getting rid of her. The tables turn on him when Haley drugs him, ties him up, and tortures him. Jeff is played by Patrick Wilson, who we now know as an A-list seasoned actor starring in many roles such as Ed Warren in the hit horror franchise The Conjuring, as well as King Orm in the DC Extended Universe's ridiculously cheesy Aquaman. Wilson gives a standout performance as you both hate him and yet also feel sympathy towards him. Hard Candy came around in the area of the controversial hit show To Catch a Predator, but well before the Me Too movement. So it was satisfying to see a sexual predator get their comeuppance on film in this manner. Hard Candy was definitely a then-modern take on the rape revenge genre, previously established by films like The Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave franchise. This film also took elements from visceral body horror, torture porn films such as Saw, which we saw a resurgence at the time. With carnal brutality, powerful performance, a satisfying narrative, and potent themes, it's no surprise that Hard Candy grew to cult status. Make sure to check it out over on Peacock, Tubi, Pluto TV, Fandango, Prime, Plex, Roku, Freebie, YouTube, and Google Play. Number 8, 500 Days of Summer. Many have said 500 Days of Summer did not age well, as the protagonist is ultimately a nice guy who becomes so enamored with an idea of true love he ignores not just the obvious signs, but straightforwardness. Regardless, that was part of the point of the film. Tom Hansen, played by the always charming Joseph Gordon-Levitt, falls for the manic pixie dream girl, only given the name Summer. 500 Days of Summer is Tom's story of love and heartbreak. It isn't linear as the film conveys the fracturing nature of infatuation. The audience is swept into the intoxicating nature of infatuation through a witty ensemble that includes the precocious Chloe Grace Moritz, who is a confidant and screen stealer. What many audiences often miss is that Tom isn't really a good person, and this woe is me tale is actually a bunch of bullshit. Like those guys who somehow all of their exes were crazy psychos and he never did anything wrong. Summer even tells Tom in the beginning that they are just casual, but Tom is wanting more of a relationship, ignoring the fact they don't belong together. Towards the end of the film, Tom finds out that Summer is engaged and he just sulks, eventually meeting another woman and repeating his toxic behaviors. You can check this out on Prime, Apple TV, or Fandango.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope that you're enjoying all of our content. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. If you want to support us even further, there are numerous ways. First, check out fatninja.shop, our very own merch store where we sell t-shirts, hoodies, hats, shoes, and more, featuring our logo and other designs. You can also join our Patreon, linked in the video description. Last but not least, we have officially launched the YouTube membership program. At only $4.99 a month, you'll get access to our monthly newsletter featuring reviews, previews, and exclusive behind-the-scenes information about our upcoming projects and videos. You also get a nifty little badge and special emojis that you can use during our upcoming live stream chats. And if you're a member of our Discord channel, you'll get access to a special role which gives you even better access to the Fat Ninja staff and the chance to enter a monthly prize drawing as well as a shout-out at the end of our videos. The prize drawings will only begin once we have reached our goal of 50 members. Finally, you'll also be gifted a special coupon code good for 20% off any item from our store. We appreciate each and every one of you and are incredibly thankful for your support. Each new subscriber and member helps us achieve our goals and keeps us motivated to create new content each week. Thanks again. Take care.
Number 9, Juno. 2007's indie hit Juno, directed by Jason Reitman, son of legacy director Ivan Reitman, demonstrates in his sophomore outing that his skills as a director are no fluke. He wrote his directorial debut, Thank You for Not Smoking, which was a biting work of satire against both the tobacco industry and ad agencies. For Juno, he helmed a sublime script written by Diablo Cody, who'd go on to win Best Original Screenplay for her writing craftsmanship. Juno isn't just a quippy, zippy comedy, but a poignant coming-of-age drama with an ensemble that packs wallop. Juno is led by the lovely Elliot Page, who adds the pathos to the titular character. The tale follows Juno, a precocious teen who gets pregnant and decides to give the baby up for adoption. Teen comedies in the mid-aughts moved away from the sexual bravado and farce, centering around grounded drama and pop culture references, earning the moniker hipster comedies. Ironically, it was the likes of Judd Apatow's sex comedy smash hit, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, that started this trend. Juno is sharp and nuanced, but it is also, interestingly enough, steeped in conservative Bush-era politics. The entire film would have been resolved if Juno would have just gotten an abortion, which was legal at the time and still should be. Regardless, she was still given a choice, and she chose not to. The important thing being that she had a choice. But enjoy this modern classic dramedy over on Fandango or Prime. Number 10, Brick. 2005's mystery thriller Brick, brought to you by acclaimed writer and director Rian Johnson, who is now known for critical darlings like Looper, Knives Out, and the audience dividing The Last Jedi. Brick made a splash at Sundance in 2005, eventually raking in $3.9 million during its run on only $500,000 budget. Impressive for a limited release. Regardless of how you feel about The Last Jedi, its notoriety got folks curious about Rian Johnson's filmography. Johnson, kind of like Jon Favreau, is one of the best living directors we don't discuss enough. That is evident in Brick, which is styled after noir films, particularly in its writing, except it takes place in a modern-day high school setting. When all is said and done, Brick gets points for creativity, which it actually won an award for at 2005's Sundance, the Jury Prize for Creative Vision. Brick opens with a death and then cuts to 2 days earlier as we follow Brendan, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who spends the film tracking down the whereabouts of his girlfriend and her murderer in this exciting mystery. Johnson's love for a subversive murder mystery is apparent in his taut direction, in a preview of what we'd be in store for in his widely popular and acclaimed Knives Out series. Check it out over on Prime, Google Play, Apple TV, or Fandango. Thanks for checking out the video. Did we leave any films off the list? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tap that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest releases. You can reach out to us on Twitter or X at Studios Fat, or chat with us on Discord, linked below. We're also now on Blue Sky. You can find us at studiosfat.bsky.social, which will also link below. If you're really enjoying our content and want to help support us, click that join button for exclusive content, rewards, and perks. Make sure to check out our very own merch store located at fatninja.shop. All proceeds go towards our next film project, so we'd greatly appreciate it. I've been your host, Jamie. Thanks again. See you in the next one.